Beep bop boop bop. Bow, 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 boop bop beep bop. Hey everyone, this is No Shots Fired podcast, episode 65. Double kill.
That's an interesting sound profile on that keyboard.
Double kill. Thank you. Yeah, that's our original theme music in the beginning. Handcrafted.
Love it.
With love and care by me. So if you would like the rights to use that, talk to our licensing attorneys. And I swear to God, we will come after you for any unauthorized use. Today we're going to be talking about Nioh 2, various Halos, Super Mario 3D World. Going to make the 1991 list. We're only going to make the list. We're not actually going to.
Yeah, because I want to give us time to revisit a couple, like we've done in the past. So typically we've made
play them.
Yeah, because usually we would try to make the list at the end of the previous episode, but our 2002 discussion went on longer than the previous one, so did not have time.
We're gonna have to be tighter with our.
Hey, when the heated discussion happens, we're gonna ride with it.
And then we'll take your questions. But without further ado, Junkblade has been diving into the nefarious world of 15th century feudal Japan and demons. So take it away with Nioh 2.
16th century, actually.
16th.
So an untapped period of Japanese history, I'm sure.
So, as I was telling Valen earlier, this game is very much historical fantasy, not fiction. This is straight up high fantasy, but there's some mention of actual figures from the time period, like Miyamoto Musashi, the legendary bladesmith and wielder of two swords, who I'm sure you guys have never heard of before tonight in any respect whatsoever.
You're breaking up on me a bit, so I heard Musashi, I think. I didn't hear it.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just having the same audio issues that we've been having for a bit. Might just be time to retire whatever.
The webcam microphone, I think, is what.
Yes, yeah. And
it really went down.
Probably.
It went downhill quickly.
Yeah, there was not a. It was like that.
Fell off a cliff.
Fell right off a cliff. Okay, so Nioh 2 is a Souls-like game. The combat is extremely difficult, especially if you get more than one enemy involved in combat at a time. If you die once, you have the opportunity to go back and get the stuff you dropped, but if you die again before you do that, it's gone forever.
Is that a Dark Souls thing?
It is a Dark Souls thing.
Okay, because I know I played it, that was that way in Shovel Knight and I think Hollow Knight and stuff, but since I hadn't really played the Dark Souls games, I wasn't sure where it started.
And I'm sure it's started
some obscure,
but
popularized is Dark Souls.
Yeah. So, one major difference from the Dark Souls formula is that it is not an open world game. You actually have a set level that you go into and play through. You can exit the level at any time, but you lose any souls you've accumulated. You still keep any of the items you've gotten, as well as level ups that you've gotten. So far, I've only had to do this once because I just legitimately could not beat the level. And
did you play the first game?
I have not. So the difference between this game and that game, and is the reason why I will not be playing it, is there is no character customization in the first game. You are a set character and cannot change them. And that is just not fun for me. Yeah, it's a no-go. In this, you have a variety of things you can do in character customization. Your hairstyles and facial hair are not actually gender locked in this game. Not something that really matters to me personally, but I know a few people who...
It's good to have options, you know?
Yeah, it's always good to have options, and I'm never going to complain about having more options in a game. Another sort of twist on the Dark Souls formula that this game has is, while it has, like, the ability to do a strong attack and a weak attack, there's also 3 different stances you can go into for each weapon. So you can have a stance for really fast, but not very strong hits.
Okay.
A level, and then, like, the super strong, but super slow, and takes away a ton of your stamina every time you hit.
Okay, something I think I remember some from... Monster Hunter's a series I'll dive into a game for like 3 hours and go, oh, jeez, this is hard. And then like 4 years later, I'm like, well, what about this one, though? And then I rinse and repeat. But the stance thing is a similar thing. Is it easy to switch between those, or do you have to like pick one before the fight and hope it wins the day?
It's very easy to switch between them in the middle of a fight. Okay. I have to do so frequently, depending on what sort of enemies that I'm going up against. Like, if I'm dealing with 3 weak enemies, I really need to hit mid-stance with my weapon, and that way it can hit multiple of them at once. The other 2 attack forms are focused on hitting 1 enemy at a time.
Okay.
And I honestly think, of the Souls-like games that I've played, this game is the most lethal when there is more than 1 enemy involved in the combat.
Okay. How much have you played so far?
Do you want play time or actual...
I guess, do you think this is something that, like, with, like, upgrades or, like, different weapons, you think will get a little less strenuous, or do you think that's just going to be part of the design of this particular game?
I think it's just going to be part of the design of this particular game.
Okay.
Unlike in Dark Souls and some of its contemporaries, you don't get special weapons for beating bosses. So, like, in Dark Souls 1, there was a way to go out of your way and find a really good sword right at the beginning. Or you could find a really good sword from a certain boss early on and just carry that through to the rest of the game. So far, that has not been an option in the game, and I'm only on stage 4 of the story missions. Out of how many, I don't know. But it does not look like it's going to be changing anytime soon, and even the most basic enemies are still really lethal, and I've gained 30-some levels.
That's a lot of levels.
So,
okay,
yeah.
so I think this might be something you mentioned, but I think it was off pod. Is the story delivery is also a differentiator from Dark Souls? Like,
yes, it's a... Yeah, there aren't stories told through the items you pick up, like in Dark Souls.
Okay.
More detailed cutscenes. Your character has more relation to other characters that are in the game.
So they put effort into it, I guess, as well.
Yeah,
one way of describing it.
I've
enjoyed, like, the Dark Souls people, like, oh yeah, you really dig into the item descriptions. Like, yeah, that sounds great.
I think the way Dark Souls does
I do think that is incredibly
valid. I prefer this sort of thing.
I think the Dark Souls thing personally is extremely lazy, because it's like, so if I were writing something, that would be like, it's like backroom storyboard bullshit where you're like creating the universe, but instead of narrowing down the universe into a digestible story, they just dump everything into item descriptions. They're like, they'll figure it out.
Well, yeah, if you happen to pick this up, good. Here's your story.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean,
Now,
it's literally
now, if there is someone on YouTube who I can go watch, a la Destiny's Grimoire, who makes really entertaining, like 30-minute videos that tell me the story, then cool. I'm in on that. I'm sure there is probably that for Dark Souls, but I've never pursued it. But that's what it requires to make it worthwhile, I think, which is a bummer. So this is better.
And another thing that it shares, actually, this, to me, this is even worse than Dark Souls. Like, not, I suppose that the way I phrased that was bad, but this isn't bad necessarily, but the bosses are absolutely brutal.
What?
I don't know what that was.
Why I'm tantalizing.
Why are we flashing our sponsorship money?
I'm tantalizing our audience with anyone who asks a question will get $20 US. But you have to have seen that, and this is a one-time offer, and you have to respond in chat in the next 8 seconds. I didn't want to interrupt what was going on. It's just anytime you see the trademarked No Shots Fired $20 appearance. No, you can't. Nobody.
Oh.
Sorry, in the fine print, any of the people casting don't get.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
But anytime you see a $20 bill flit through any of our webcam frames, if you respond in 8 seconds and then ask a question at the end, you get that $20. That's guaranteed.
Oh, wow, we're really bringing it forward here. Okay.
So, the basic story of the game is that you are what is called a shiftling, the child of a human and a demon. This gives you some powers, and against certain enemies, you can enter a demon form, which, to make an analogy that I know most of you will understand, is sort of like going Super Saiyan for a bit. But,
Good.
This lasts a limited amount of time. You lose energy every time you get an enemy or they hit you, or a few other things. So it lasts an even shorter amount of time, and it's generally not long enough to solo a boss, and sometimes isn't even long enough to solo some of the mid-level demons that you fight during the game.
Okay. Well, like, what's like the recharge time on that ability? Is that like a once every couple of fight thing, or if you stock up on like an item, you can like chain them together or something?
I've been told that you can chain them together if you have a certain item. I haven't tested this yet. But otherwise, it's once every couple of fights at best. It recharges based on the amount of demons you kill, or sometimes it'll charge when you get killed by a demon. But it, like other things, the charge goes away if you die and then die again. So if you're at like 90% charge but die and then die again, because some of the enemies in this game are very, very difficult, then you are back to 0 and have to start over, charging it up to take on some of the stronger enemies.
That would be a bummer.
Yeah, it's happened to me a time or two. I was about to rage quit earlier because of getting killed a second time in a really stupid way and losing a ton of souls.
So how long do you think the game is?
Well, I'm on stage 4, and I've already played 20 hours, so I'm assuming this is going to be a 200-plus hour ordeal.
Holy heck.
Yikes. Okay.
Yeah, it is not an easy game. The only saving grace for me is going to be the co-op makes it a hell of a lot easier. It has a very forgiving co-op mode compared to the regular playthrough.
Oh, cool.
And that'll help me get through some of these worst stages.
Got it. Co-op. A good co-op mode on a game like that would be something that maybe actually would get me to play one of those games. We'll have to see.
I just don't know that I like unless you count like I just don't know that I like the Dark Souls type very much. I played like what Salt and Sanctuary or something, which is like a 2D.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I don't know. Even if with co-op, maybe with co-op.
Yeah.
Um,
And I think even then, you guys would both want to actually be playing in person co-op to really
Probably.
actually enjoy
probably
it.
The little time I put into Demon Souls on PS5, because that's like the only game at this point in time that I've been like, I'll give that a go. Like, it's just like the combat, like swinging my sword, I'm like, this just feels like shit. It's just, like, I swing it, I'm like, that's not going to do anything. And I'm right. And then I get bonked on the head, and like, you died. And I'm like, okay. And now I'm back at this weird church. And like, I guess I'll talk to this person. And it's just, yeah, like a...
bonk.
I don't think I'm built for the type of game that those are, where it's like, well, I don't know. Well, if you kill this person, then you can't get any of these items. Well, I guess you shouldn't have done that. It's like, okay, well...
And there's one thing that also has been incredibly frustrating about the game, which is that it does seem to lag at random times, which wouldn't be such a big deal in and of itself, but it seems like the game lags for me, but the enemies keep going at the regular speed.
Oh, yeah.
So just screwed.
Okay.
So I'm hoping that's something that is like a known issue and gets patched later on, because
It's going to turn out to be an Assassin's Creed game, and that's you desyncing from the Animus, I believe. Classic Assassin's Creed tie-in.
I definitely would not be expecting that twist.
How many
I don't know.
Assassin's Creed games are there now?
Oh,
Like
God,
80?
there's so many. I bailed at, like... I played 2. I played the first one for some amount of time and said, I can't grab any more of these flags. 2 I beat. Brotherhood, I think, is where I stopped. And that was a while ago.
I didn't even make it through the first one.
The like time traveling thing threw me off. I think they should have left
They've
that out.
they've
but...
bailed on that almost completely, as far as I'm aware.
Oh, okay. I think that was a good decision, personally.
Yeah. Time travel as a plot point really doesn't work most of the time.
Oh, they called it like deep memory diving or something.
Oh, so I'd say it was so goofy. I wanted to see them, like, see where they were going. I was like, this is so stupid. I love it. Show me more. And then they gave up on it, and I was like, oh. You have to finish these stupid seeds you've planted.
I like the pirate ship one. Almost got me back in because I wanted
Black
to be on
Flag.
pirate ship. I don't know if that one was any good or not, but
Well, the
pirate
newest
ships.
one I think is you're a Viking, so Viking time.
Well, there's endless amount of time for you to go around assassinating people. So have they already done Romans?
They did Egyptians and Greeks, I think. So basically, yeah.
Basically,
yeah.
I'm sure there were Romans.
Just change the names of the gods, and it's the Roman one, right? I mean, come on. Everyone knows the Greeks did it first, so they're more interesting. Sorry, Rome.
I want has there been like Revolutionary War yet?
There has been, yes. Assassin's Creed 3.
Yep,
they sure did.
There was even an expansion called The Madness of King Washington.
Ooh.
Where George Washington...
Little alternate history for you.
I believe so. He goes like completely off the rails and decides, you know what, I am just going to be a king.
And you have to kill That's interesting. Interesting take. I like that. I would kill George Washington if he became king and went insane. Have they?
Anyone who puts wood in their mouth for chewing purposes, I don't know, right? Come on. What are we doing? So that's Nioh 2, it sounds like. Good game. Yeah. Enjoying it.
Yeah, it's more what I was wanting Sekiro Shadows Die Twice to be.
Okay.
I haven't really gotten back into Sekiro since the last time I played it which feels like it might have been a year ago at this point.
Okay.
I don't know. The pandemic has made everything has made time dilate weirdly.
Time is nothing. There's no time anymore.
Yeah, there's
did you get to the boss in Sekiro that everyone talks about? The ape?
No, I didn't. I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about? Okay.
Yeah.
What is this boss?
You cut the ape's head off, and you're like, yes. Nailed it. The ape then picks up his head and goes, fuck you, and, like, the battle continues. And he doesn't have a head, so...
I mean, I respect that. You gotta respect that move.
You know? Putting in work for all 60 minutes. Speaking of cutting off heads...
My head was my weak point.
No, it isn't. Halo, okay. Energy swords, those could probably cut heads off. Who knows?
You know what? So Doc and I have been playing this. I think what I'm going to struggle with is talking. I mean, because it's just good old fashioned Halo.
I
feels good, but you know,
we've gotten a little weary of our regular rotation of multiplayer games, and so we started pining for yesteryear.
Something brand new. We want something brand new.
Something brand new, something we hadn't done before. We said, "Hey, remember that game we played 15 years ago? Let's do that." And it's been fantastic.
No, it's been great. I mean, especially when we got it on sale.
Yeah.
I mean, if you liked, Now I don't remember if they messed up. I feel like they messed up the remastering.
The initial of it, the initial release of it was absolutely awful, but that was like 6 years ago, I think, and they've actually continued to they've done a ton of work on it.
Yeah, I would say definitively they have fixed it.
Yeah.
And
so so we got it on sale at like $25, and you get Halo, Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo 4, Halo Reach, Halo 3 ODST, all of those, and 1, 2, and 2 are like redone graphically, but not critically redone UI wise. So you get into a Halo 1 game and you're like, holy hell. You guys didn't even put the borders between the cells of the spreadsheet, the scoreboard here. It's great. It's great. But yeah, so like the multiplayer is done in a very smart way, I think, in that you can search across multiple games at once. So you just say, okay, I want Halo 1 through 3 right now, and it'll grab a game on either any of those. Tons of different game type playlists and stuff. So we've
very cool. I mean, they really seem to have packaged everything into one nice, tidy container.
And we've had little trouble finding games, and I think we've done well in terms of competitiveness. I think it has
succeeded. If you're looking for some throwback Halo action, I get the Master Chief Collection.
It's cross-play between Xbox and PC, so that adds to the player base as well. You can set it. You can actually search for people playing with certain input devices. So if you don't want to play like keyboard players, you can choose that. Although I have not, having played with a controller the whole time, I have not really noticed too much of a disadvantage.
No, that was why I was reluctant initially to play with the controller, just because usually you're. But I significantly improved once I just.
Halo's it's a controller game, it's just...
Well, it's just that muscle memory, everything just worked out better.
And yeah, I think the deliberateness of the movement kind of helps level the playing field. Like, it's not a Counter-Strike where you can, like, rotate 360 degrees in 0.4 seconds, which would be impossible on a controller. So, yeah, a lot of fun with Halo. It's good. Music's good. The guy says stuff. It's great. The shield recharging sound gives me a tingly feeling. Yeah. SWAT.
Gain the lead. Lost the lead. Gain the lead. Lost the
So one of the Halos they need to because the start of a game's a little rough because they'll just say that over every time it happens, and it's like, okay.
And you need people to know if the lead,
Yeah, people got to keep track in that first 30 seconds of. But I don't know if I have too much more to say. Halo, good.
Well, that's gonna be the only issue. Halo, good. There's not a lot to, but terms of like a deep dive into the game, if you don't know what Halo is, you probably
So maybe
never...
I want to play through the ODST campaign I never played through. That might be more of a talking point, because I know that's a very different Halo experience.
I do actually have a question for you two regarding this. Which online multiplayer mode are you playing the most of in terms of, like, which game? Because I know we liked Halo 2, we liked Halo 3, we liked Reach. Which one do you guys gravitate towards the most?
Well, again, I think we just dump...
We put them all in. Yeah. I'd say we probably get more Reach than anything. Just because Reach is the one that comes installed, then you have to like pick the other ones as you want to install. So more people probably have that installed. Right.
Okay. I was just curious because of the like range of Halos we played. If you guys had one that you're like, yes, we're playing this one, and
we do like the armor lock one. If we can armor lock, we're having a good time.
I did really like Reach. I don't know if it was my favorite one. I think it was really well done.
Yeah.
But
I remember really enjoying armor locking.
We're armor lockers.
One of my favorite memories of Halo 2 is still, for some reason, the matchmaking putting me on the separate team of Valen and Matimos, and I would just grab the flag and jump off the edge with it, because then it wouldn't respawn for a few minutes.
Oh, man. It's coming from inside the house. Oh, goodness, that would be...
Eventually, somebody rightfully got fed up and just, like, shot me in the back of the head.
I do need to look up if they have that... There's one Halo 2 map I keep thinking about. And it's like you're inside, but it's this huge area with that huge, like, lower central area. And then, like, the walkway around the edge of it. And we would always do, like, capture the flag and stuff. And there was, like, maybe 2 cross bridges. And, like, it's kind of like purplish. Purple blue, maybe? Anyone got me on this one? There was at the center, at the far center, and there was like a boost up, and like this area where like the rocket launcher would be, and you could like sneak around the back area with like the overshield. And nobody.
Like I said, it's just been so long since I played the game that
I need to look that up because I know we played that a ton. Between that and whatever they call Lockout, Blackout, I don't. They keep changing the name based on what version it is, but love them. Good stuff. Okay. Speaking of, I don't have a transition to Mario. I played a Mario game. So Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury came out recently. I have not. Bowser's Fury, yeah. So it's actually like a cool kind of open world-ish Mario, open world. Like you're running around one big area that has a bunch of like smaller Mario levels contained within it, but it's much more of a continuous experience than a typical what you would think of. It's because the 3D World, 3D Land games were kind of like a variation on the 2D Mario, where you'd enter a level, go to the goalpost, and that you would go on to the next level, kind of thing. So not like 64 or Sunshine or Galaxy, where you could get, you could do maybe like 4 different things in that level, but once you got the star, it would take you out of the level. But so 3D World is a game that was originally came out on the Wii U some years ago. Surprisingly, a lot of the people I follow really talk that game up as like one of the best Mario games, period. And always lamented that it came out on the Wii U, so barely anybody played it. So I have finally beaten it. I did not beat it back in the day. I will say it was a lot of fun. So some cool levels. The cat power-ups, the big power-up in this game, it lets you climb walls and stuff. So it's kind of fun exploring for green stars and that kind of thing with the cat power-up. But one thing, so it's you're moving around like 3D space, but like you don't control the camera. So sometimes jumps could get a little wonky in terms of where I thought I was going and where Mario would plummet to his death, which was a bummer. But other than that, some cool levels, great music, and Bowser trying to get up to his old shit, and I put him in the fucking ground, I guess. And then Bowser's Fury, I've put a few hours into. Also had a very good time, but Bowser is just this like huge kaiju level monster that you can see, anywhere in the world. You like look to the center, and there's this huge black shell coming out of the water, and it'll start spinning every 15, 20 minutes or so. It'll start raining in the level, and then he'll like come out of it. Just this huge hulking monster and just fire beams at you and drop all these different platforms, which actually is kind of interesting because there's places in the world where you try to get him to fire the fire beam at, it'll break a wall, or those platforms that come down will allow you to get to a different spot. So you kind of try to use those creatively and stuff. So it's an interesting mechanic that kind of changes the world every so often, but it's also not difficult to kind of either wait them out for like a minute, or you just grab a cat shine, which is the stars you grab in this one, and
cat shines.
Yeah, he goes away. And then every few cat shines you get, you unlock a Giga Bell.
Cat shine? Could we dive into cat shine?
So it's your cat Mario, right? Like I talked about, that's the big power up. So it's a cat face that looks like a sun, I guess.
Why couldn't they just stick with stars?
Everything, like literally everything in like the trees have cat ears. Like everything's cat.
My God, I must have missed that part. Okay. I mean, I like cats, I guess. So.
Yeah. But then you turn into a Super Saiyan cat to actually fight huge.
Is Bowser a cat?
So in 3D World, the final boss, he does take a bell and turn into his persona, which is like a tiger cat. And he swipes at you. But other than, I don't know if he does that again in Bowser's Fury. It didn't go well for him the first time, I can tell you. So maybe he's learned his lesson.
Who came up with everything cats?
Shigeru Miyamoto, I'm sure. He
Do
probably
we know?
won't.
Do we...
No, Nintendo never tells us any of the fun stuff.
No, I just like the idea of that pitch meeting, like Mario, but cats.
Mario, but cat.
Get the devs on it.
You finish a level, he goes meow, which is funny.
I want to look this. Is this Mario 3D World?
Yes.
And they're all cats.
Well, there's a cat power up, so it's like a mushroom where if you grab it, you turn into a cat.
But it makes everything cats?
No, so I'm saying the Bowser's Fury thing, like everything is cat. It has like cat ears, like the good, like it's just It's an aesthetic for this one. Yeah, don't think too hard about it.
Don't like it. I'm just saying, what do I have to Google to see the cats?
You probably do Bowser's Fury cats. Would probably get you there.
And Bowser's Fury is a segment of the 3D world.
No, it's a separate. It's a add-on thing they added for this Switch port of the 3D of the Wii U game. So they've been sending a bunch of Wii U games onto Switch so that people actually play them, which is nice because sneakily there were a lot of really good games on the Wii U. But with this one, they said, okay, it's this plus this fun little, I think it's like 6 or 8 hours, so it's not a full Mario game, but it's a really cool kind of
the expansion pack where everything's cats.
Expansion pack where what if more cats? Hey, remember the cat?
God,
How about more of that?
Mario is pretty adorable.
Yeah. But then when Bowser comes out of the like there's cats roaming around the level as well. But if the storm starts and Bowser comes out, they turn into demon cats, and they're less friendly at that point in time. So.
Oh my God, he's climbing up the wall as a cat. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense.
Yeah. So, there is a pretty good segue here. Super Mario 3D World. You take out 3D, and we're at Super Mario World, which, to my checking 4 different times,
that is a Super Saiyan cat.
Yeah, came out in 1991, which is our next year. in the ultimate ranking of game year time list.
So this is where video game releases get kind of funny, because I was looking at games listed as being released in 1991, and it lists Super Mario Brothers 3, but that was actually
Europe
only
is?
in Europe.
I was gonna say, what the heck?
Because I didn't realize it was actually released in 1990, or at least in the US, and then 88 in Japan. So Japan was like, hey, US, we're getting it a year and a half before you are.
Oh man, it was 1990? I would have... Interesting, I would have bet 89. Okay, so we have our... Let's start making the list. I'm going to put Super Mario World on there, because, of course. Link to the Past.
Link to the Past is definitely on there.
Definitely on there. Street Fighter 2. Final Fantasy 2/4. Sonic the Hedgehog. Original.
Battletoads.
Battletoads. Super Castlevania 4.
Super Ghouls and Ghosts.
Super Ghouls and Ghosts.
Just want to update you guys. Mario returned an orphan cat to its, not I guess an orphan, but a lost cat to its, I think its parent.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Really adorable.
Mega Man 4.
Mega Man.
The cat shine for that.
I put Another World on there, a game I had not really heard of until recently, but...
And then there's Fatal Fury, King of Fighters, which didn't age as well as, like, say, Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat, but I still see it, King of Fighters, brought up every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
So I would at least probably give it a shot.
Okay, Tecmo Super Bowl.
Okay, so this one is definitely not making it onto the list.
Okay.
But I've been trying to think of this stupid game for weeks now, because I was remembering, hey, there was this one really weird game for the Super Nintendo that I remember picking up at like a random gas station on like a family trip one time.
Okay.
And I remember playing through a fair amount of it and then getting stuck at one part. And I'm like, I want to replay this game and try and get past that point, and I have no idea what the hell it's called. But in looking up games released in 1991, I did actually finally find the damn thing.
Okay.
It's called Nintendo, Way of the Ninja.
Nintendo Way of... Wow. Okay.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think anyone was expecting something cool when I mentioned picked up at a random gas station on a family trip one time.
That's a good point.
But,
Ninja Gaiden 3?
funnily, this takes place about, the game takes place 22 years after where I'm at in Nioh 2.
Oh. Well, there we go.
You're just going to be an expert at history of feudal Japan.
I really need to make like a window of just me, of a spreadsheet. This is just...
Yeah, that would probably be helpful.
Yeah, probably the best thing to do. Then we could share it with all of our followers and...
Yeah. No time to do that now, though. So I'll just keep scrolling up the list. Block my face. Don't need to see me anyway. The First Civilization. Look up a video of that.
I'm also going to, after the stream is over, double check everything on this list.
TMNT, Turtles in Time is one I hear about a lot.
More because I'm afraid that some of the ones I picked are weird on the release dates, like the one, like I was looking at Super Mario 3 and it said, hey, 1991, but that was in Europe, which is not what we're going by.
Huh.
Correct. No one cares about Europe. Sorry, Europe. Let's see. Bill Lambier's Combat Basketball. Huh? Who's in?
What?
Who's in?
Yeah. Now that came out in '91. That is my
Right?
top. Bill Lambier's Combat Best. That is a mouthful.
Almost as good, but not quite,
For who taught?
as one of my favorite NES games, Lee Trevino's Fighting Golf.
Real?
Almost,
Here,
almost as
here we
good
go.
as one of my.
Hang on.
I wonder who pitched that to old Bill.
You don't
Lee.
fuck with Lee Trevino on the course, okay? You don't.
Apparently not.
And
Almost.
it's endorsed by the U.S. national video game team. So, yeah.
Almost as good of a title as one of my friend's favorite games, 100-Foot Robot Golf.
That is a good one.
And yes, that is a real game.
Yeah, but what kind of check they cut to Lee for that?
I think anyone got anything they want to add here? I think we've got a pretty solid.
91? No, I don't.
I mean, 15 is more than I thought we would come up with, and I mean,
Simpsons, Bart versus the Space Mutants. You got the original Duke Nukem. Batman Return of the Joker.
well, Duke Nukem might
Duke
be
Nukem
worth putting
probably
on there.
On the list, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, if
Nukem.
I don't know all of these, so
Neverwinter Nights. Police Quest 3.
a fitting end to the storied Police Quest franchise.
Yeah.
I mean, assuming they ended it, I have no idea.
Famicom Jump 2. Saikyo no Shinjimin.
Why is Baby Bowser following around
So
Mario?
he wants you to help get Bowser under control because he's lost it. So the game starts where he's like, "Hey, my dad's fucking out of it."
Isn't that kind of Bowser's thing, though?
Like even more like he's like, you know what? Normally I'm down with it, but this is excessive. So.
Cat Shine. I'm into watching this. I was skeptical at first. Cat Shine.
Yeah, it's good.
Turns out you can do it. You cannot do any wrong in a Mario game. Is what I am.
Mario, yeah, he's got it. He knows he's got it. He works it.
Get
that fucking Cat Shine. Cat Shine.
I mean, the only two Mario games I can think of that aren't like mainline Mario games that I can think of that aren't as well regarded as others are Super Mario 2, which, as we established, isn't even technically a Mario game, and Sunshine, which, even with Sunshine not quite being my thing, feels like it was kind of unfairly dubbed the redheaded stepchild.
It feels like it's grown in stature over time. But yeah, you're definitely right that it was not as well liked when it came out, for sure. All right, this is I added Metroid 2: Return of Samus, which is a regular Game Boy game. It is Metroid. This is a solid list.
This is a solid list. There's actually a couple of these that I want to play just to kind of give a shot. And as established, it should only take, an hour or so for most of these games to kind of get the idea of what they're about if I haven't played them before.
At least to some degree.
Yeah. Yeah, like,
So,
I'm not saying... I'm not going to beat Final Fantasy II in an hour, but
no.
I'm going to get the gist of what the game is about in an hour.
Well, maybe. Would you get out of bed?
Well, Fantasy II is the ones on the list I'm super interested
Should
in
get past the Mist Dragon in an hour? I don't know.
running through. Anyway, I'm more going to do King Fatal Fury, Duke Nukem, probably Turtles in Time, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, and I haven't played a Castlevania game yet, so I don't know if I should start with 4. I definitely want to give Battletoads a shot.
4 is kind of a remake of 1. To be
Okay,
fair.
so okay. Then I'd be okay with starting with 4, I think.
And you can send the whip in like any direction you want because of the power of Mode 7 graphics.
Nice.
Maybe it's not Mode 7, but the power of the Super Nintendo. Now you're playing with superpower. Let's see. I played Super Mario World fairly recently. Link to the Past, I play a bunch. I want to play Final. I'm going to play Final Fantasy 2. I'll give
classic.
I'll give Castlevania a try. Battletoads can fall in a hole.
It's way too tough for anyone. I've tried that before. It's ridiculous.
Another World I'm going to play for sure, just because it's come on my radar recently, and people talk very glowingly about how it's one of the first kind of... I don't know, I need to read it again, but it's a very influential game, apparently.
I've played Super Mario World multiple times. I've given Link to the Past a bit of a shot. Sonic the Hedgehog I played. Battletoads I want to at least give a try, even though I know it's going to be stupid, difficult, and not... There's a reason why it's, like, infamous rather than well-loved.
Yeah,
right.
You'll get to that first jet ski level and go, okay.
Yeah. Super Castlevania 4, I want to give it a try.
Cheers for having a jet ski level.
I have played, like, Ghosts and Goblins on the NES store thing, so I'm sure Super Ghouls and Ghosts will be on there too.
Yeah, I guess I'll see which ones are on Switch Online or on the SNES Mini or the NES. Some of these, I think, are Mega Man 4 is an NES game. Which ones I have access to, and at least hopefully give a shot to several of these, because Mega Man, Ninja Gaiden, like a lot of these games you can get a pretty good feel for with not too much time spent.
Exactly.
Val, you got any that are tickling your fancy here?
Yeah, I'm play this game with the Cat Mario.
That's what's gonna get you to get a Switch?
Cat shines.
Is really?
No,
I would not have bet that.
He's so cute when he's a little cat. He's running around.
It's real good.
Cat shines.
Okay, Valen. There are rumors that this year Nintendo is going to be releasing the Super Nintendo Switch. And if that happens, I will want it anyway. So I will give you my old Nintendo Switch if that happens.
I would still be a little surprised if it comes out this year, just based on how well it's selling still. I feel like it would have... But there have been a lot... Yeah, Genblade's right that there have been a lot of rumors about that coming. Because the Switch is older than I think. Like, I forget it came out in 2017. Which, as we know, is forever ago.
Yeah.
But... Yeah.
And I've tried playing the original Civilization, and as somebody who has enjoyed the latter Civilization games, it's hard to go back.
I want to look up like at least some footage of that just to see. But a game that started a series like that should at least be discussed in brief.
I mean, I think that's probably that's the foundation to what spawned. I mean, that's not only that whole franchise, but basically its own little board gamey type niche. Like, there's a million Civilization knockoffs out there.
Yeah, definitely. So it sounds like a group play of Final Fantasy II is what's happening. Right?
That'd be fun, actually. I would much rather
do that some night.
Play. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. We should do that and stream it.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay. So it was written.
Other than that, I mean, I might try Super Castlevania 4.
Yeah, I am curious about that one, and I know that's on. That's got to be on.
What's
Switch.
Another World? You said critically acclaimed.
Let me look. Let me.
Never heard of it.
I know.
but if
I hadn't
you
heard of it either.
went so far as to put it on the list, then
But it Tim Rogers is someone who was at Polygon, I think. Very off the wall style of videos and stuff, but very entertaining. And now he's gone off on his own and started doing Patreon videos where he does reviews of video games that are at minimum 3 hours long. So he talks a lot about video games. And he mentioned this one as one of his best games of all time. And I was like, I've never heard of it. Okay, let me, actionbutton.net, so you got a real good URL. Bottom line, Another World is the best video game of all time.
Well, that's just crazy talk.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's the best game they've ever played, which
Okay,
could
okay,
true,
the first
time is kind of
all right. The first paragraph here: Another World, released as Out of This World in the U.S. and Outer World in Japan, is perhaps by default the best game of all time by our criteria. It was designed and programmed by virtually one man. It is not long. It features no heads-up display to control the screen. It features precisely one weapon, which can be used for 3 purposes, using only one button. It possesses unshakable confidence in the sharpness of its mechanic. It features puzzles whose solutions require no more than common sense. It has amazing music. It is gorgeous to look at, and it tells a story while it moves relentlessly, never stopping, never preaching, never speaking, from the frightening beginning right up to the heartbreaking conclusion. Which, for a game that came out in 1991, and I have played a bit of the start of this, is quite the statement.
I'm sorry, but there has to
Now,
be some hyperbole in that.
Maybe.
For a game I've never even heard of.
It is out on iOS, I can tell you. I also went on eBay and bought the Super Nintendo version because I can't help myself.
Sure.
And it was like $15, and I was like, sure, why not? It came with the manual, which is always a catnip for me. But yeah, I'm gonna give that try to give that a more thorough playthrough. But what's his channel? His videos are very good. Let me see. Is it Action Button? Is that the channel? That is the Action Button. Okay. Action Button on YouTube. His review of Pac-Man comes in at 2 hours and 55 minutes. His review of Doom, the original Doom, is 3 hours and 30 minutes.
3 hours and 30 minutes?
His review
for the original Doom?
Yes.
Playing the game doesn't take that long.
No, it doesn't. It's really worth it is worth watching some of these videos. They're absolutely something else. His most recent one, reviewing Tokimeki Memorial, is 5 hours and 56 minutes.
I enjoy long reviews of things, but God,
yeah. Now to be fair, I have not gotten through the Tokimeki Memorial one yet. I have watched pretty much. I didn't watch the Last of Us one because I don't care about that one. And then his Final Fantasy VII Remake one is 3 hours and 18 minutes. So, Pac-Man apparently the most brief at 2 hours and 55 minutes.
Why would anybody? I am struggling. Does he understand the concept of a review? The whole point.
So it's something where he gets very deep into the surrounding.
I've read critical analysis literature before, and that's what he's doing, and that is insufferable to me.
It's more entertaining than that, I think.
But how can you have even a critical, even the most in-depth analysis? How can you have a 2 hour and 45-minute analysis of Pac-Man?
Because he doesn't spend the whole time talking about Pac-Man, Junkblade.
Because what? Sorry, you cut out there at the end.
He doesn't spend the whole time talking about Pac-Man, Junkblade. That's the secret. There's a lot of stuff around Pac-Man. What did Pac-Man influence? Hint, a lot.
Okay, so it's a really long documentary then.
Right. That's not a
That's
review.
not
In
a-
fact, it's a documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why Valor and I are so
I'm taking issue with the word review at this point.
I mean, you guys haven't watched the videos, so I don't think you've got a leg to stand on, personally.
I just think I understand the definition of the word review.
You gotta watch one. You gotta give it a go.
I am
Dive
never ever gonna do that. There's
Doom-
a lot of time. There's not a lot of time.
He plays Doom on everything it is possible to play Doom on, and you know how many things it's possible to play Doom on? It's a lot of things.
That's not necessary for.
So that's a comprehensive review of anyone who has played any version of Doom. That's true.
That is not true.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of a review is to save you time so you wouldn't necessarily have to play the game if the review does not. It's not a review.
I've spent more than 3 hours playing Doom.
You can beat the game in that time.
Not the first time.
At which point it becomes a moot point. If you want, like, again, a documentary, sure. Yeah, I'm just taking issue with the word review.
Yeah.
As should every reviewer on the planet.
All right.
And the whole idea of a review system.
Okay. Captain and Corporal Nitpick notwithstanding, they're fun videos. Check them out if you want to. Are there any questions from the chat? There's 2 viewers. There's probably 2 of us.
Is anyone going to claim that $20 prize?
I saw a few more instances of a shot at it. One last one. 4.
But thanks for stopping by.
6, 7, 8, and we're out of time. Okay.
Yeah, gosh, it goes by so quickly. You got to really be fingers on the trigger to get that $20 prize.
Ironic, considering our name of No Shots Fired.
Okay, so I guess we'll have to kind of see how this week goes. Maybe we'll want to push the 90. Well, I guess we don't necessarily have to. We can do our Final Fantasy II playthrough after we do that episode. That's not a requirement.
Yeah,
we have enough of that. So I guess we'll maybe focus on those short games we wanted to try, so we can do this ranking this coming week, hopefully. Pending.
Let's do it. That actually
life.
sounds like a lot of fun.
Awesome.
This has been episode 65 of the No Shots Fired podcast. Double kill. Thanks for stopping by. Gosh, it's always a shame not to have somebody claim that $20 prize, but maybe next week.
Moving on.
Excited to have you. And for Junkblade and Doc, I'm Valen, and we are signing out.